What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another episode of the 5 takeaways. We're going to take a look at the Newcastle game and see what 5 things we learned from the game. And first up, we're going to be talking about Drennan hitting back.
Yeah, and Drennan obviously came off the bench in that second half, and he's come under a lot of criticism this season. Obviously, to be fair, probably justified. 2 poor performances against Leicester and against Everton have left a lot of people wanting him dropped. He was dropped, which a lot of people called for in this one. Odegaard came in on the right-hand side, but to be fair to Drennan, came on the second half and was a lot better than Odegaard was on that side, and maybe showed why he is our first choice right winger right now. I thought we'd go with Dan Burn, no end of problems. I thought obviously he got the goal, he set up the goal, which led to an own goal for Dan Burn, and his stats read for pretty solid reading. Obviously he set up how many key passes he got here? He got 1 key pass, he's got one big chance created, had 2 shots, one off target, 2 out of 2 dribbles. The only thing is he did miss 1 big chance. That was that one when he did get the ball in the box, he tricked past one
Really
player.
nice touch that
was. It was a lovely touch, but on his left foot, should have hit the target, blazed it over the bar. That would be disappointing. But he was running riot down that side in that second half. So really pleased for him. Hopefully they'll give him the confidence boost he needs to get back to form.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I've been one of Brennan Johnson's biggest critics, particularly in the last 4 games. If you take pre-season into account, the 2 games against Bayern Munich, Leicester and against Everton, I think he's been poor in all 4 of those games. But to be fair to him, he's come on in the second half and he's made a real impact in this one. And I think this is stuff that we've seen from Brennan before, though, like fans being like, oh, he needs to be dropped. Then he comes on after he has been dropped and makes a real impact off the bench. So maybe this should be his role for the next couple of games at least.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, the thing is with Odegaard, he didn't look so comfortable on the right. So whether Ange decides to go straight back into Johnson, I reckon he probably does, to be honest.
Against Arsenal, yeah, against Brennan. All right, well, next up in the second takeaway, we're going to looking at Drennan at right centre-back.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people were worried going into this game. Van de Ven pulled out last minute due to that injury he picked up against Everton. And, especially given how Newcastle played, the forward line they have, you would have thought it would have been a big worry to have someone like Drennan. Yeah. I guess the big worry isn't saying necessarily Drennan, it's more not having Van de Ven in the team. But I thought Drennan stepped in, did really well. I thought he covered Romero really strongly. Ange made the decision to put him at right centre-back and Romero on the left, and I think that worked really well in terms of the level of performance. I guess the only criticism I have is potentially for the second goal, could have done a bit better in that defensive line. He did keep Murphy on. Was he thinking about...
If Van de Ven's there, does that goal happen? I'm not sure if it does.
Well, yeah. First of all, does Van de Ven catch them? Or does Van de Ven step up and play them offside? I think you could say 2 of those things. So, a bit disappointed in that. But I thought Drennan actually put a really solid display in a lot of one-on-one situation with Isaac. He was the one coming out on top, and I thought he looked really confident, and maybe he wanted... I think it was a performance, obviously we did lose, but maybe it was a performance to say, look, even when I step in, I think I can make a big difference. And he's been left out of the first 2 lineups, and I think he showed Ange what he's capable of in this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Dragoshin's a top player, and I think he's shown it every time, or the majority of times he's been on the pitch for Spurs. It was only the first couple of games when he first joined, I thought, he was coming, a bit out of sorts a little bit. So I'm very impressed with Drennan. I thought he had a really good display yesterday, one of our better players on the team. And some of those challenges, that one for Isaac, last-ditch challenge, was just incredible, absolutely incredible. So I think Drennan is proving his worth for the team. It's just unfortunate for him that he's got someone like Mickey Van de Ven and Cuti Romero ahead of him who are top centre-backs. So he's going to get his time. He's definitely going to get his time over the course of the season, particularly in the Cups and the Europa League. And when you're looking at the state of the defence now, as it was maybe this time last year, you're saying it's massively improved, Drennan there. So it's a big up to Big Radu. Next up, what we're going to be looking at?
Away day woes.
Oh, God.
Our away form has been poor for an extended period now. I believe I read a stat, it's like 3 wins in our last 15 away games. And for any side, looking for challenge for big things, that's not going to be good enough. In fact, I think our only away wins in 2024 are Sheffield United away on the last day, and then we beat Villa away 4-0 when they went down to 10 men. Although, look, that was a good win. I don't want to take anything away from that, but those are our only 2 wins away from home in the last few months. And And look, this season, Leicester away, that should have been 3 points. Should have had at least a point yesterday. Yes, you probably if you go into the season, you probably wouldn't say losing at St James's Park is the worst result in the world, but considering how we played, considering how the performances we've had in the first 2 away games, is very disappointing, and Andrew's got to sort our away form at the moment. The good thing is we are playing well, we are dominating, we are asserting ourselves in the away games, but we're not getting the points.
Yeah, it is very frustrating because when you look at the level of performance, particularly maybe last season, the level of performance wasn't good enough away from home. I think when you're looking at this season, the level of performance against Leicester and against Newcastle have been much improved. So I don't know if it's a constant theme from last season, because I'm seeing better level of performance, but the result seems to be the same, where we're just conceding terrible chances and we're conceding terrible moments in games. So I do see signs that that's going to get better because of the level of performance is much improved, but the results are keeping the same for this moment in time, so it needs to get better.
Yeah, but look, it's only 3 games in, so still a lot of football to play. Next up, we're going to be talking about the costly misses in these first 2 away games, and we've missed 4 big chances in these first 2 away games, and obviously these big chances being missed have cost us, and the sucker punch for us is that we've missed these big chances, whereas Newcastle and Leicester have both had 1 and 2 big chances respectively and put them all away, and them taking those chances and us missing those chances when presented to us has been really costly in us getting results. And yes, we've also created a lot of half chances on top of that, but the big chances being missed is really what's costing us points at the moment. And I think Andrew will be very frustrated because we've had the chances to win these games. We've put ourselves in positions to win both these games, and we've come away with 1 point from these 2 games. So I think those costly misses are really costing us points at the moment.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. We need to have that cutting edge about us. We need to be deadly. We need to be on point when it comes to our attacking plays, because if this carries on, we're just going to keep getting sucker punched. We're going to keep dropping points in games where we're dominating, in games where we're on top, and that's the most frustrating thing about it all, because it goes back to the last point. You look at the level of performances, they're more than good enough to win games, but we need to be putting our chances away. We need to smell that blood of the opponent when we're on top, and we're on top over the course of Leicester and over the course of Newcastle, probably over 75% in both games. And we've come away with 1 point out of the 2. Yeah. So it's really frustrating. We need to be putting our points away, and there's no incisive cutting edge about us at the moment, which is very frustrating.
And lastly, no need to panic at the moment. As much as the first 3 results...
Easy for you to say on the beach.
Yeah, exactly. That's probably right. But look, I think in terms of the how we've started the season, yes, 4 points from these first 3 games is a bit underwhelming and a bit disappointing, considering that we probably should have at least had, I would say, 7 points in these first 3 games, or could argue we could have won all 3 of them. The underlying statistics are very much in our favour. I think we've created the most chances in the league so far, or second most to Man City, I think, in the first 3 games. Our expected points is just behind Man City and Liverpool in the first 3 games as well. So I think we've got the most touches in the penalty area of anyone else in the league so far. So we are looking good. We're dominating games. We're looking strong so far. Obviously, you could, last season we had a strong start in terms of performances as well. But I do think, in terms of the level of the amount of chances we're conceding as well, is a lot less than it was last season, which is also really positive. So as much as it's disappointing at the moment, having got our first defeat already this season, and we drew Leicester, I still think there are a lot of positives for how we've played. 3 really good performances, and if we can keep up this level of performance and just sharpen up in the final third, who knows? I think we can still have a really great season.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like I said, I'm very happy with the level of performance so far this season. It's just those things, those cutting edge that we just need to add to our game, and I think we will add that. I think there's positive signs when you're looking at moving forward into the season, and Andrew's going to get it right. We're still in the middle of a rebuild, bang in the middle of it, and I don't think we're going to be there until probably next summer. So I think the signs are very good in terms of moving forward. We're progressing as a football team, and when you're looking at probably post last 10 games towards the end of the season to now, the performance is way better. The level of performance is way better. So let's keep going in this manner. Let's not go too overboard about these missed chances and goals that we're conceding. And let's start, once Solanke comes back next game, I think you'll see that cutting edge start to come back for Spurs. So yeah, that is it. That is your 5 takeaways. Let me know in the comment section below. Did you notice anything else from the game that we've missed out? Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.